The other thing we did in our
Yes.
conversation was to give the Archbishop an opportunity to meet at least one clergy person and one laywoman from dioceses where many of the churches have left, many of the Episcopalians.
Yes, so
And
Jim
so we
Simons
had
from
Jim
Pittsburgh.
Simons
And Cindy Smith from the Diocese of San Joaquin, who's a layperson. We know that Archbishop Rowan was able to meet with the bishops from those dioceses, and we wanted the clergy and laity to be able to have those voices heard as well. So he did meet with them, with us, and it was very fruitful, I think, talking about specifics with regards to rebuilding the diocese, what it really takes, how many clergy are really there, how many congregations, where people are worshiping, rented halls, funeral homes, people's front yards. That's the reality of that, and that was shared with the Archbishop by those.
And to try to make him aware, though he indicated he'd gotten a good sense of this from the bishops, the enormous pain that's been generated in these dioceses on both sides because of this sort of schismatic action that's taking place.
Related to that, did any conversation come up about the role of other provinces in facilitating
I would have loved to have had that conversation, but we ran out of time.
No.
Okay.
Now, whether that happened with the bishops, I don't know. If you can track down Jerry Lamb or Bob Johnson.
Yeah. My other question related to the whole polity thing is, and both of the subject matters was, you had the Archbishop of Canterbury's time to say all these things. You have 15 other primates of the Anglican Communion are here for convention, at least for this first week. Is there any plan to attempt to have these kind of conversations with those folks to sort of spread the knowledge?
Yes, we'll ask Jim to help set us up with something like that.
In many cases,
You can make me. You can make me pay back later.
in many cases, these archbishops have been hosted at some considerable length before they got here. We had the Archbishop elect of the Congo in our diocese. I heard something last night about the schedule didn't quite work out, but it was intended that he was there a week, visiting parishes, hearing how the church works, seeing a variety of different ministries before he came here. But yeah, that would be wonderful.
A lot of the international guests and primates were in the House of Deputies this morning for our organizational session. In fact,
the hardest time figuring out who all those bishops were.
right, that's who they were. They sat in the ecumenical visitors area, which is a great place to see the functioning, and it was packed. And I talked to several of them afterwards. So meeting one-on-one, I think, would be a great follow-up. So Jim will get that together.
Well, maybe not one-on-one, but maybe in smaller groups.
Did the Archbishop did he express any views about the churches and dioceses who have left the Episcopal Church? And just this last month, this new church declared itself. Did that come up?
We didn't talk
No.
about the newness of that. We talked about
We
the
were talking about the Episcopalians.
Episcopalians
in those places.
that we're
Yeah.
primarily concerned with.
We wanted him to understand what was going on and the toll that it's taken. And because I don't think he's had that conversation with anybody who's an Episcopalian who remained out of those dioceses. So it was tremendously heartening for me to be able to talk to him about the reality of that break. And I think for Cindy as well. And to know that he's meeting with the bishops, and I think he met with them for a considerably longer time. So
I think the term spiritual abuse, when we talk about what happened in those dioceses, was a new term.
attribute
For
that
him.
clip to her, not to me. Make sure you get that right.
It's fine.
Was there any,
Right, but it was also interesting, I think, when Jim was able to so forcefully raise the fact that it's not all the conservatives who are leaving.
Oh yeah.
That and that he could speak to from the Pittsburgh experience. He claims that there are no liberals in Pittsburgh.
Until you come in.
Was there any talk about the creation of a new primate in a new province?
No.
As they would wish
No.
to do, and what that might,
You can only do so much in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there was a severe time limit, but the fact is that our particular concerns is about the ongoing life of the Episcopal Church and the Anglican Communion, and people who have chosen to separate themselves from that, frankly, aren't going to get on our 30 minutes of conversation. I mean, it's a worthwhile topic, but it's not our number one. Our number one is for the people and places that are here, and who we are and where we are.
has there been any willingness from the U.S. bishops to say, when they get a communication from the Archbishop of Canterbury, I'll get back to you after I talk to my House of Deputies?
Well, that's what we'd like.
Has there been
They
conversation
did
that.
about
They did
that?
that.
Something about that?
They did that around the,
On one occasion, where they said that they could not, I think it was the primatial visitors.
Yes.
Primatial visitors that came out of the Dar es Salaam primates meeting in February 2007. The House of Bishops actually said, we can't respond to that, and they communicated with the Executive Council to say they hoped Executive Council wouldn't agree to participate in that pastoral scheme. I use the term pastoral scheme because that's what was in the primates communique, was
the team.
pastoral
term.
scheme was in the, I'm not using scheme derogatorily.
One of the realities is that either of the two houses by itself only has negative power. It can say what it's not going to do, and then we can't do it because we need both to agree. But no one can make a positive statement saying the Episcopal Church believes, which is part of Sally's idea, that one house cannot say the Episcopal Church does this. One house can say we don't intend to behave in a certain way, and that's pretty much that's the case because we need both houses. But by ourselves, the separate houses only have negative power. No.
And we did talk about that and clarified that even when the House of Bishops says they won't do something, that's not binding even on the bishops in the House of Bishops. They don't have the authority to bind each other or to bind themselves as a house. So, even that is very,
right,
they
is
can't do that
is limited.
even in a negative sense. They can say, this is what we think right now, but bishops can't be disciplined for not following it. It's just what they think at that particular period of time.